Hi, this is Chris for ComicsVerse at New York Comic Con 2015. I am here with Joshua Williamson, my personal favourite writer. He's written Nailbiter, Birthright. He's working on the Illuminati for Marvel. There's a lot of stuff going on at the moment. So I'm going to ask him a few questions. So thank you very much for meeting with me, Joshua.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's good to meet you.
So first of all, how's the con been for you so far? It's just wrapping up today. How have you enjoyed it?
Oh, it's very chaotic. I mean, you can't really tell from the angle we're at right now, but it's like madness out there. It's been pretty intense. But for me, it was a lot of fun. Like, I like coming here. I've been coming here since, I think, the second year I've been coming here since it opened. And every year it's crazy to see how much bigger and bigger it gets, but it's still fun.
And just before we go into talking about the Birthright and Nailbiter, just want to ask you one or two quick questions about the Marvel stuff you're doing.
Sure, yeah, of course.
So first and foremost, I read recently your Red Skull miniseries, which was a lot of fun, and it was really dark as all hell. But what was it like kind of writing those characters, but knowing that you have a bit of free reign with them? You know, I mean, by the end of it, no one really walks out of it alive. So what was that like?
It was challenging, but I think having that freedom allowed me to sort of just have fun with it. I don't know. Like, I knew what I was going to do from the beginning. I knew that this is like, I was going to do these characters, put them through hell, and the ending to this sort of nihilistic, very dark story, you know, that like no one gets to win, no one gets to live through this. I don't know, it was fun. I like writing bad guys because they're unpredictable. You know, bad guys, you can play around with them because they don't have the same code that heroes do. You know, heroes have to live by a certain code. And I think they're very, you know, for the most part, they know they're right, you know. I like conflicted characters, and I think villains are very conflicted, and I think they're interesting because they can be unpredictable. So when I was working on that book, knowing that I could just kind of do not whatever I wanted, right? But it was like this idea of like, I got to play in that universe, and I could just kill everyone off. It was fun. It was interesting. It made the stakes higher, and I was able to kind of show like, listen, this place is a bad, you know, like everything past the shield was a bad place, and I wanted to show that like no one was safe, and I like stories like that where no one is safe, and to show that place changes you, it turns you darker, you know. I was trying to do a very hard darkness story, and I think with Red Skull, who was the most challenging character out of the story, with Red Skull to show how manipulative and evil he was, but he is so evil that it bleeds around and everybody else, you know, they absorb it and they start to become like him. Yeah, it was fun.
But, just moving on from that a little bit, coming up with the Illuminati's coming out soon. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah. It's all new, all different Illuminati. And it's basically about the Hood has got a new secret army that he is building of villains that are like-minded. You look at all of these big Marvel events, and it's always about these aliens or these epic, evil gods, or it's about death and destruction. You know, you got characters like Doc Ock who want to blow up the world, during the Spider Island stuff. All these like horrible things that are happening. You have some villains that are like, I'm here to make money. Like I'm doing this because I'm good at it, and I want to make a quick buck. And they don't really see themselves as being the same kind of bad guy. And I've always been fascinated in how the different bad guys have different motivations. And so I wanted to do a story about that. And so our main character is Titania, and it's all her point of view on this new, this new secret organization of villains that is building. But it's a lot of fun. Sean Crystal's drawing it, and we're doing this very like black humor, dark Marvel story. It's gonna be like nothing else Marvel puts out, which is gonna be really interesting to see what people think when it comes out.
Great. Well, I'll be picking it up anyway for sure. Moving on from that, a few quick questions about Nailbiter. I picked it up about a year ago, the first issue of it, and I was just blown away by it. With the whole kind of horror thriller genre, it wasn't something I was too into at the time, but when I read that, it just kind of really appealed to me, no matter how creepy that might sound. What was the I suppose where was the expectation from when you released this? Did you expect such a reaction from fans?
I mean, it's become kind of a cult thing at this point, like kind of a cult classic. Or not cult classic, but you know what I mean? No, I think people are going to hate it. I really was worried that people were going to say it's too dark, it's too this, it's too that, and I really had this goal, this horror story I wanted to do. It was really important to me to do a certain way. We had talked to the publishers, and either they rejected us or it wasn't working out because they had a different vision. I knew what I wanted to do, and I was worried, you know, I was very, very nervous that people were going to hate it. But no, it came out and people liked it. I was super surprised, you know. I had to fly out to a signing that morning that it came out. We had already started getting reviews that were positive, and then I landed for the signing, and I looked at my phone, and it had blown up, and it was just like, you know, really positive. It was very much, you know, a sort of just a good moment of like, hey, I did cool on this, but the work is not over. You know, you got to dive back in and keep writing and keep trying to make it good and trying to make sure I keep it consistent. Yeah, I had no idea, but I'm really glad. I mean, the fact that we were able to make a Nailbiter t-shirt that's here now, you know, like those are the things I thought would never happen. But yeah, I'm really glad that we were able to make this book, and people are digging it. I think we tapped into an audience that really wanted some kind of, you know, darker book like that wasn't straight up bloody and guts and gore, you know, and just, you know, blood splatter everywhere. They wanted something that was a little more black humory, you know, and I think we were able to do that.
I recently reread it again before coming here. One of the things I noticed with Warren was that at the start he was kind of like this Lecter kind of character, but as the series moved on, you kind of got to see a very strangely human side to him. Was as the series I suppose grew, did things change within the story that you weren't expecting to?
No, I mean, I've been playing things out for a long while. I think there's a couple character things that have changed, like Raleigh, who died in 5, was supposed to die much later, things like that. But Warren has always been very in my head on what he does and how he is and how manipulative he is and how antagonistic. I know a lot of that stuff is a front and how he is. But it's on purpose. Like I'm peeling back layers on his character, so, you know, I can try to build a certain direction, and then we'll twist it eventually. You know, I mean, I think people. It's interesting how Warren is being shaped in front of the audience. You still haven't really seen the real Warren. You've seen hints of it. Like in 11, you saw a little bit of it when he freaked out at Finch for chewing his nails. Eventually, by the ending, I wonder what people are going to think. I think they are going to hit a beat toward the end where they're going to say to themselves, you know, they're going to think, like, oh, he was so nice and friendly. But then by then, we're going to twist it on you, and you're going to think, oh my God, this guy is a monster. You know, so it'll be interesting to see what think of it. By the ending, I wanted to create a very complicated villain, and I want to get to the ending and be like, here's who he is. It's on you to decide what kind of person he is.
With the whole team of serial killers, how much research did you have to go into? I mean, there was a thing I picked up. You mentioned Whitechapel in one issue, and I was like going, "Oh, Jack the Ripper." It's like how much did you kind of delve into what motivates killers? And
a lot. It's really depressing. It is not fun. I did a lot of research for a long time before the book came out, and even, I mean, yeah, I was going to the library and I was going to bookstores and sitting on the ground reading books, internet, you know, digging deep, looking at stuff, watching things, watching documentaries. You know, I have a book that is like a very detailed photo book of crime scenes. That shit was crazy because I didn't know it was going to be like that when I opened it. And I have it, and I left it in my house, in my dining room, and a buddy came over and thought it was just a book, you know, and he opened this book up on the table, and the first thing he saw was, you know, a bunch of dead bodies from a serial killer. It was not cool. And so I think things like that, I did a lot of that. It was very depressing.
And with the actual design of the serial killers, that, you know, you've got so many ones, how challenging was that to actually come up with a motive for each one? To see, you know, the clown killer, trying to push me, you know, were they like, let's try this, or how long did it take you to come up with all of those?
Originally, it was funny. Originally, there were going to be 32 killers, and then someone said, no, I should do 16. It feels more realistic, and I was like, yeah, you're right, and that helps with the timeline. All right, cool. And then we had 8. We had 8 that we knew were crucial to the story in the beginning. We had 8 that we were like, these are ones we have to have for the beginning of the story. So let's develop these 8 and see where they go and see where we can piece them and make sure they do feel important, not throwaways. And so we started working on, but Mike and I, Mike Henderson, the artist, we were just like, this will be easy, right? Like, its first 8 were easy, the next 8 will be easy. Not at all. The next 8 was super hard, and it took us some time. We laugh now about how funny it was. So it was like a challenge, but we were able to create, you know, this these 16. It just took time, and it still changes. Sometimes we would, but before issue 11, there were a couple that we still took out and put new ones in. But the clown car killer has always been there, but we knew we were gonna have a clown serial killer. I don't remember when it became, oh, well, it's gonna be this thing of he's always trying to shove people in the car. I don't remember when that happened. I mean, that might have been as we were working on the book a little bit later. I had the idea, And I was like, well, I got to figure something out for this thing. But I don't know. It was fun creating them, and now it's fun now that I have them, trying to find ways of putting them in.
With I suppose with Buckaroo, the fact that it's kind of generating these serial killers, have any fans come close to kind of figuring out the reason behind it?
One guy came close. He was actually, when the first issue came out, he and I were talking, and he said something that was like on the right track, but it wasn't right. It was like on his way there, but nobody since. Yeah. There's guesses, but the thing is that mystery is actually a very small piece of a bigger mystery that we're building toward. And I think that he talks about it, right? There's been scenes in the book where they've said, if anyone found out the truth, like millions would die. Like, there's a thing building that the secret is there is a reason why it's been stayed and kept a secret for this long.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about Birthright, and we have also with us the artist with us, Andrei Bressan. Thank you very much for coming to.
Thank you for this opportunity to talk about Birthright. Yeah,
my absolute pleasure. So, first and foremost, with that, it's been. I suppose Birthright has been. It's built its own mythos, really. I mean, how was it actually world build something that was so complicated and so complex, and it does feel from the first time you're there that it has this rich history behind it. What was it like building that?
For me, what I did in the beginning was myself and Sean Makowitz, we got together and we started developing ideas for things we were thinking about. And then once Andrei came on board and we started telling Andrei, these are some ideas we have, these are some things we want to do, Andrei really got the idea quickly and just started drawing. Like tons and tons of just designs of that world. So like landscapes, art, things like that. And in the process of that, of him designing lore and designing Rook, we found Rook because he was designing another bad guy. And I was like, no, that's not that bad guy. That's Rook. So in the beginning part, it was really easy to sort of like, it kind of came very organically of us just working together. And then Andrei is doing a ton of designs for that world. But it's been something I have been thinking about for a long, long time. So I had thought about the history of the world, but the look was still being developed. And then once Andrei came on board, he just started taking my ideas and building the look from there.
What about yourself? Obviously, Joshua wrote these characters, developing these fantastical creatures. What was that like for you?
I like to go from the abstract to the concrete. So once I start to look at Josh notes, I started really loosely, just shaping, digging for the right spot for the character. And then I tried to mix some reference, and this is a great process, and I love it.
Just on the whole art side of things, with the, I suppose there's moments of gore within the story. How much did you kind of want to show, or how much did you think I should pull back on what I can reveal in each issue? Like, one of the covers has like Mikey with his chest open, ripped out. I mean, like, it's very different violence from Nailbiter.
Yeah, it's very different.
So, but it's still visceral, but it's not as like. Nailbiter, sometimes I have to walk away from the issue and go, but
we talked about that cover a lot, right? That one, we were going back and forth a lot. There was a lot of back and forth. Yeah. But then when he still did it, was still, everybody was like, oh God, like, it's so, it's very primal, it is. And yeah.
It's visceral.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just the place where all these things are coming, it's coming from within. I like a lot of this gore because it gives the right impression that this is a place where you can get yourself hurt.
Yeah, we want to do that. That's a big goal for us.
Okay.
In like a minute.
Okay, sure. So one of the characters that kind of stands out for me was Wendy.
Everyone always asks about Wendy.
Yeah,
So
like it's because at the very first issue, wasn't a fan of her at all. It was just, she just turned against her husband, and it was like, it got me, my blood kind of boiled. But
it got your emotions, right?
yeah. But as you read more of it, and you come back to her, and she's reading the diary, she becomes much more human, and you kind of understand where she's coming from. Like, how big a role is she going to play coming forward?
Oh, huge. Like, Wendy's very important to the story. I mean, she's a very crucial character to what we're going forward with, and it's been planned all along, the little tiny steps we would do to build the kind of character she was going to be. We were worried people were going to hate her in the beginning, but we knew that over time it would pay off and it would make sense in the end. You know, and Andrei did some awesome stuff with Wendy. A lot of people don't know this, but Wendy had a pin in her hair. It's actually 2 metal wings, which is a clue that eventually she would be hanging out with Raya.
So, just before we go, is there any projects or anything else coming up that you'd like to share with our fans?
Projects?
Any projects?
I mean, most I would just say buy Nailbiter, buy Birthright, and, you know, try to check out Illuminati. I mean, but really, we're working a lot on Nailbiter and Birthright. Those are my babies, you know, so try and check those out.
And for yourself, any upcoming projects?
Oh no, I want to really do this the right way. I always stick with Birthright in the end.
That's a pretty good answer. That's a pretty good answer. Go on here. So anyway, thank you very much to both of you for the interview. This has been Chris for ComicsVerse at New York Comic Con 2015. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr. We'll be on YouTube. Google us. We're everywhere. Take care. Bye bye.